Derek Carr wanted what? All right, so according to Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated, and I just came across this, and I had to fire up the computer and talk about this because this Derek Carr Saints saga never ceases to amaze me. The latest chapter in the story, let me just switch over here, is Derek Carr allegedly wanted a raise this offseason. Okay. Let me just read this to you from what this is again from Albert Breer, Sports Illustrated. He put this out today. So first, he goes on to say how the only other team that was interested in Bo Nix last year in the first round potentially was the Saints. So that's interesting. That's the first time that I've heard of the Saints and Knicks being linked like that. But that's beside the point. So he goes, speaking of the Saints, their quarterback situation obviously remains in flux. To review, there was a point in the offseason when Derek Carr wanted a raise. What, did I miss that chapter? I'll admit, maybe I was like in a coma somewhere. But when did this happen? So okay, so there was a point in the offseason when Derek Carr wanted a raise, then a trade, and then the Saints unilaterally converted the great majority of his 2025 money from base salary to a signing bonus, which essentially locked him in with the team for the year. After that, news of the potential shoulder surgery stemming from a 2023 injury surfaced, and a lot of questions have followed. Older quarterbacks generally have a lot of wear and tear on the throwing shoulder and could use surgery. Hearing GM Mickey Loomis's tone in his Wednesday press conference only reinforced the idea that things aren't in the best place right now between the team and the quarterback. Oh, brother. Oh, man, it just never ends. So you're telling me the guy wanted a raise last year? For what? For what? For 2 games that you played well in last year? For the first 2 games of the season? Like that is that am I missing something for stupidly getting injured versus the Giants when you didn't have to when the season was essentially over anyway? Where's the raise? Where is that coming from? Why are we wanting a raise? Now, genuinely speaking, the only thing that would make sense to me on why he would ask for a raise, other than him being just completely delusional, is that this was a tactic to get him to get the team to trade him. Maybe, right? I mean, that's the only thing I could think of. You tell them you want to trade, they say no, or you tell them you want to raise, they say no, but we'll get you out of here. That is the only thing I can think of because Derek Carr does not deserve a raise. If anything, the dude needs a pay cut. Okay. And the fact that all of this was known by the team, by the GM, by Mickey freaking Loomis, and they still chose to go the route of restructuring him instead of cutting ties. And mind you, restructuring him when he didn't want to be on the team. He wanted to trade. Still does. He still doesn't want to be on the team. That's why this shoulder injury is coming out now, right? How like there is one man in all of professional sports front office wise that could get away with being as bad as he is with some of these uh things that he does, and that's Mickey Loomis. The job security that this guy has to just be this like I, I don't even know the word careless, reckless. It just makes no sense. And now you find yourself in a situation where here comes the draft. You're probably going to end up reaching for a quarterback because the quarterback that you just restructured that you have to pay a ton of money to this year and next doesn't even want to be on the team. And he tried to let you know that, right? Like, as delusional as I think Derek Carr is here, as for as much as I've, hated on the guy, and he lets you know he does not want to be a New Orleans Saint. And despite that, you still restructured his contract. And it just created this whole mess. So again, what I was about to say is now the draft is here and they're probably going to reach for a quarterback because they don't have one. Right? You have Spencer Rattler on the team, but that doesn't really I'm sure that doesn't really give them any type of sense of security, right? It's such a mess, and this coming out today like he wanted a raise. Are we serious, dude? I don't know. Um wow. So draft is tonight. Latest right now we're hearing is it looks like maybe they go offensive tackle. Um with their first or with their ninth overall pick, and then maybe trade back into the first round to either get a Jackson Dart or a Tyler Shuck. Now, there wasn't a report from, I believe, CBS Sports that said that Jackson Dart is not expected to make it past the Saints at 9. Now, who knows if that's true? Could be a smokescreen. Tons of these things go on draft night. But as of right now, it looks like they could go offensive tackle at number 9. And the more I think about it, and I actually just tweeted this out, if they are going to go the offensive line route, I think a guy that would make a lot of sense here, especially given the recent news that the Saints aren't extending Trevor Penning, or not extending, they're not picking up his 5th year option. I think a guy that makes a ton of sense at number 9 is Kelvin Banks Jr., left tackle from Texas, just simply because of the versatility that he provides you, right? This is a guy that probably half the league projects as a guard, the other half projects as a tackle. Of course, he played tackle in college, but he's a guy right now that could step in for the Saints and start at left guard immediately, right? You could put him in right now, start at left guard, and have a good left guard. And then potentially, if we don't see Trevor Penning take another jump in his game, continue to develop this year, and the Saints move on, then you can move him over to right tackle. Then you got your bookends at both sides, and then you go from there, right? So I think if they are going to go that offensive line route, Kelvin Banks Jr. just makes a ton of sense just because of the versatility he provides. Like plug him in at guard, then maybe he can bump to right tackle if Trevor Penning doesn't end up working out this year and he don't earn himself another contract. Another name that has been linked with him just as of late, Josh Connerly Jr., tackle out of Oregon. I don't know if I'm a fan of that pick at number 9, but whatever happens, happens, right? It looks like the Saints, just from all accounts, it's probably going to be an offensive lineman, or if not, maybe a Michael Williams if he's still on the board. And then a lot of rumors are swirling about them trying to trade back up into the first round to possibly take a quarterback that's there. Now I know the 2 quarterbacks that they seem to like the most, just from what everything I'm hearing and reading, Tyler Shuck and Jackson Dart. Now, I know apparently the Giants also really like Jackson Dart, so they might be trying to move up to get him as well. So it's gonna make for a definitely an interesting night one here tonight. Yeah, night 1 of the draft and night 2 as well, right? That's when we get the second and the third rounds, and who knows what could go on there, who dropped, who didn't. Will the Saints trade up and lose some picks? Will they trade down and gain some additional picks on those days? So all in all, I'm excited. I'm really excited. This is the most excited I've been for a draft in you know, probably a number of years now, just simply because it feels, it's a new regime. It's the Kellen Moore era. Unfortunately, Mickey Loomis is still running the show, but hey, got to keep some kind of positivity, right? Um, yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Hope you all enjoy the draft tonight. And rest assured, we'll be making a video after the pick is made tonight. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.